All right, we got some fun Dark Neostorm post-ban list shenanigans going on here for Sky Striker. So, I want to do a rundown kind of on what I've been testing. Actually did relatively well at locals this weekend with this for the sneak peek. So a couple of things. I want to try Solemn Strike again in the main deck. Me and Sam were talking about that a little bit. He does bring up a really good point with wanting to test it. So that's one thing kind of caught my eye. Number two, I'm currently at 41 cards. I kind of want to test some other things. Currently on 3 Desires as well. I did find that playing Desires was actually pretty good. There is consideration for Lost Wind, and there's consideration for a couple of other things. I did want to replay, so like, I want to play more Twin Twister because of Mystic Mining Chainburn. But I've found that 95% of the time, like, in every other matchup, Twin Twisters is just dead. Like, unless you're playing other Sky Striker, like, you just kind of run into issues. So, I mean, Twin Twisters is good against Pendulum, being able to pop their scales before they can actually, like, Pendulum summon. That's good, but, like, just, it's little things like that. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So, main deck, we play triple copies of Sky Striker Ray. I have no personal problems with this card. Aha, zoom. So I think that Ray is fantastic. I think she's the best card in the deck, but you want to see her. So you gotta play some bad card choices. So we are playing triple copies of Ye Old Ash Blossom. Best hand trap in the deck, hands down. I will say one thing about this though. I do want more hand traps. Ash is good though. We have triple copies of Effect Veiler. So Veiler's good against Salad right now, but like, I'm indifferent about it because, I mean, you go after the Nightmare and you slow them down, that's good. But like, this card inherently doesn't do much else than that. I kind of want to play, so I'm on 1 Ogre. I want to play another Ogre. Kind of want to do 2 and 2. That might be a bad idea. It'll be something that I want to test later on. But the 1 Ogre came up a lot, actually. Like, I'm actually kind of impressed with how good Ogre is right now. I actually thought this card was going to be trash, but I actually proved myself wrong on that. So, yeah, kudos to you, Ogre. Spells. Of course, triple copies of Engage. You would think that Kagari actually getting touched would hurt this deck. No, not at all. Deck is still really good. We have triple copies of Widow Anchor. This card is still as nuts as it's ever been. As long as you can go first and end on a semi-decent board, in a position that you can actually get to 1 or 2 of these with a multi-rule, you're good, literally. The only thing now is, like, you just don't blow your Kagari turn 1. You just have to kind of be more passive with Shizuku at this point, unless you've got 3 spells and the actual literal nuts, then that's a thing. We do play the 1 copy of Hornet Drones. No explanation needed. 1 copy of Afterburners. 1 copy of Jamming Waves. This card's still really good as well. Now, in the last Sky Striker video I did, a lot of people were like, nah, you need to be playing 2 Eco Booster. So, the more and more I've played, yeah, I see the argument for this. But there was never truly a scenario that came up that we would want to. Also, the deck is really tight on space now. Like, I'm actually, it's scary to say that right now, because I do want the second booster, but other card choices kind of prevent that. Well, Rob, you're playing Desires now. What if you banish it? You got to make sacrifices somewhere along the way. We are playing 2 copies of Shark Cannon, so this is just straight tech from the OCG. And this is nuts. Holy actual crap, I thought this was going to be terrible. I was so wrong. Being able to freely climb a link ladder off of just whatever you want, being able to spot removal, so like multi-purposely, like you get to interrupt your opponent if they're going to do anything in the graveyard, and then if they've got something that you want to link with to get the Boral Sword to kill your opponent, here, you did it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's actually really good. Like, I'm shocked. Now, other good cards that we play here. Triple copies of multi-rule. There's no reason that you should not be playing 3 of this at the moment. I actually consider 2, but now that Kagari's gone, this is now mandatory. There's a little bit more spell and trap destruction kind of running around in the format. Just kind of depends where you look at the moment. But this is mandatory. Now, something that I wasn't too sure on, this was actually my 41st card, which was the 3rd copy of this. I've really been debating back and forth on 2 versus 3 of this over the last couple of days. And my reasoning for that is, like, when you have the 1 established, your opponent doesn't really care. But it just sucks when you draw more than 1 of these. Like, I always open one terraforming, and I'm just like, well, you know, like, we're setting the terraforming and going F on it, but, like, ugh. I played 2 copies of terraforming to search for said broke card. 1 copy of reinforcement of the army. No other explanation really needed on that. Copy of Upstart Goblin. I wish I could play 3 of this. Now, I really like this. So my logic with this was, like, I want to see this turn 1. I want to be able to tutor out my deck, do all my searching, and then get 2 more resources after I've thinned the deck to the point that I feel comfortable. This also can act as a starter. A lot of your numbers are maxed out at 3. I think Shark Cannon is probably the most important card that we have in the deck right now. Outside of that, just card says draw 2, like, I'm not opposed to it being in the deck. I've always kind of liked Desires in here. So that's one thing that I think people are going to disagree with. No Magnet Reverse and no Monster Reborn. I actually found the Magnet Reverse was kind of trash when playing it. I could be wrong about that. Maybe there'll be more scenarios where it comes up, but it just... Shark Cannon kind of just does what I need it to do, and it has Sky Striker in the name. So yeah, I understand the argument for wanting to recard more Kagaris, but those cards do nothing turn 1, and turn 1 is going to be your most optimal time. Like, you need to be able to survive that point. We play triple copies of Infinite Impermanence. I kind of want to try Solemns. A little bit indifferent about that myself, but it was another hand trap. I never drew it. It's kind of strange. I never drew either of these. So, 3 copies of There Could Only Be One. Another OCG tech. If you draw this, it does do work, but, you know, once again, like, if you don't see it, what can you really do? So, that's one thing. Now, moving on along into old extra deck. So, we have triple copies of Sky Striker Hayate. So, arguably, yeah, you need to be playing 3 of this. I don't know why you wouldn't be playing triple copies of Hayate in the first place in this deck. 2 copies of Kaina. Yeah, this is fine also. 3 never came up, actually. Only 1 of these really came up. So, I mean, I understand the argument for wanting to cut this to 1, but no. I like having 1 more name. Triple copies of Shizuku. In-face searches are really cute. Don't get me wrong. She's still really good on the power down. 1 copy of the Kagari. Alright. Spicy tech. Something I've been seeing a lot more right now. So, we do play the 1 copy of Hida, the Fire Charmer. So, interesting thing about this, it's 1 fire plus a non-fire to make it. So you can use your Kagari to make this, you can use your 3 Ash Blossom to make this. This didn't feel like a super win more card. You just kind of use this against Salad to climb link ladders, take key pieces away from them if you really need to. Card's pretty good. I initially wanted to cut this because I was like, when am I ever going to make this? Oh, also, this is fire as well. I was like, when am I ever going to make this? And it was just like, well, you know, it came up a couple times, amazingly. So there's that. 1 copy of Phoenix, 1 copy of Unicorn. Yeah, they were pretty good. I'm super indifferent about this. So, you want to use this to revive your Kagari, but it just kind of felt like wasted space. I'd rather play Avram or Nigrisu. I was actually giving consideration to Nigrisu. Nigrisu seemed pretty good, actually. And then Link Force, Bomber, and Boral Sword Dragon. Boral Sword still comes up quite a lot, actually. Thank you, OTK cards. Now, side deck here. 2 copies of DD Crow. Depends on how well Orcus goes up. I might want to give consideration to main decking this. Just kind of depends. We have 1 copy of Ghost Bell, 1 copy of Ghost Ogre. Just kind of shooting blind here when I put this in here, but I'm probably going to cut this for another Lancia. We do play 2 Lancia. Once again, stops Orca, stops Thunder Dragon. I don't know why you wouldn't be playing 3 copies of this on the side. And then we have triple copies of Twin Twister. This card's still nuts. Kind of want more backward destruction though. And then we have triple copies of Ye Olde Summon Limit, because this card still says lock your opponent 2 summons. It's still really good. I know a few people were like, would you consider maining this? I think there could only be one was arguably as good. Just really depends on player pref, but like I didn't ever see much of an issue with it. So that is what I'm messing around with for Sky Striker at the moment. We'll have regional lists coming out in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably see this deck get more concrete over the next couple of days, but what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below to what you guys think about Sky Striker in general. And well guys, I'm out. Peace. Take care. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.